The jingle you just heard is by Stringless Music Solutions. If you are interested in learning how to play the guitar, including bass and ukulele, do contact Stringless Music Solutions. Mention the promo code eXpose to get $15 off your lesson fees.
Hey, good evening, everybody.
Yo, evening.
Thanks for joining us on a live on Facebook. Today we have Melvin from Inequalities Venture. Hey, Melvin, how are you?
Hey, hi guys. How are
Hi.
you guys? Doing
Good.
great.
Yep.
Good, normal. We're still doing the live stream. Then today we are very honored to have you together with us. How's
Yeah,
your
thank you for
life
having me.
during these 2 months of circuit breaker?
Well, life has definitely changed, but I think it have changed for the better, at least for me, because this circuit breaker has let me spend a lot of time in solitude,
Okay.
because life is always quite very busy, right? So I'm seldom at home. But now being forced at home make me make me appreciate my house more. And
Healthier? Are you doing more exercise?
more
Eating better?
exercise, definitely more exercise. Have been eating lesser junk food.
Okay.
Yeah, exercising almost every day now. And found this balcony of mine which I've never used for the longest of time.
It looks like those virtual wallpaper, you know.
Yeah, that's why I thought it's virtual
Yeah.
wallpaper. Yeah.
Yeah, so because it's quite surprising, right? That you think you know your house, but you don't really explore all parts of your house. So essentially, usually balconies are mainly places where you hang your clothes or you just clean it, but you don't really use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so because of the circuit breaker and with the family at home marking their spot for working, right? I kind of have to force. I kind of am being forced to find my spot to work. So just so happened the only choice I have is this balcony,
Balcony.
because most of the places have been taken. So I've been
Right.
spending a lot of time at my balcony, and just realized that actually my balcony has a very nice sunset view.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so you get a very nice sunset view, and you, you basically get this view
Yeah.
in the evening as well.
So I think
So
during the circuit breaker, a lot of people has found a lot of new talent, like the ability to cook better food, take more better photos of their food, and do something that they hardly have much time to do, because
Yep.
before circuit breaker, you're always rushing here and there. Every second, every minute, is time saving. But now
Yeah.
it's like, I'm going to be at home anyway. When I wake up, I'm going to be at home. When I sleep, I'm still going to be at home. So you got more time
Yeah.
to do a lot of things, and you realize that there are a lot of things you can do, but just don't have the time. And it was
Yeah.
a good period where people find out that they can do.
Yes, definitely, yeah. So a lot of spring cleaning went on in my house,
Wow.
and then I realized that actually
You have a lot of treasure.
I wish. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a lot of things. But it does make me realize how much time actually do we really need just for working. Actually, not a
It's
lot.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, actually it's not a lot. Yeah.
It's
True.
not a lot. Yeah.
Because you spend time traveling if you have to go to
Yes.
office, right? So sometimes it may
Yes.
take an hour or two to reach office, and then another 1-2 hours for you to come back home. So that's
That's
4
right.
hours a day, 8 hours of work, 12 hours outdoor. That's
Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah.
Yes. So I do find out that being present in the office does not necessarily equate to being productive. That's for sure.
True.
Yep.
Yeah. Like
Somehow pretty true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that when you are gone, nobody really misses you, so to speak. That means one of the realization that I'm not as important as I think I am.
Or
Yeah.
sometimes it takes some scenario for people to realize how people are important to them and things like
Oh
that.
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
like they always think that working from home it's a sort of like impossible task for the employees. But I think a lot of company were technically forced to find out that
Yep.
most of them can actually do their work remotely, and
Yep.
because most employee working from home, they might put in another hour or two because they don't have to travel. So they wake up early, they go online and do their stuff. They end the
Yeah.
work slightly later, or maybe they can take a dinner break and then resume to clear some
Mm.
emails or things like that. So I think
Yes.
the work pattern has changed. You know, in return, you get better productivity, lah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So
So I think it's a good thing. You know,
it's a lot.
during this circuit breaker, you know, hopefully some things might change for some employees.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I hope so too, because being present at work is quite toxic, I realize.
Yeah, sometimes because you get a lot of distraction,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Sometimes
true,
when
true,
you
true.
are
Not really
engrossed in doing
productive.
your work, and then next moment somebody walk over, hey Melvin, can I ask you a question? It's like
Yeah.
you can't
So
say
you can
no,
get,
right? You know, most of
yeah.
people are being very nice and polite. They say, oh sorry, yeah,
Mhm.
how can I help you? You know,
Yep,
but in fact in your heart you will
definitely.
say, please go away and don't disturb
Yeah.
me.
Because sometimes you just need your own space to work, and
Which is yeah,
you don't really want disturbance, especially when you are thinking of trying to solve problems.
Yeah.
correct.
So
Yep.
yeah, it's a good escape for me, at least.
True.
Getting out of a comfort environment, office environment. Yeah, and I also realized, yeah, why do we spend so much more time in an office that we probably don't really enjoy, but we neglect the house that we have, which is our home.
Yeah, because
So a
you
lot
spend
of
most of the time
realization. Yeah,
outdoor per day, like what I say,
yeah.
maybe around 12 hours. So by the time you get home, it's dinner, shower,
Mm.
the bedtime, and that's about it. And then next,
Yeah.
the whole cycle returns all over again. And then Saturday, and because of this circuit breaker, you are not allowed to go out during
Mm.
weekends. So you
Yep.
spend more time at home. So you got no time for football, cycling, badminton, or whatever it is.
Yeah, correct.
Everything is at home, right?
Yep.
So you
Yeah.
get more time at home appreciating your home, lah.
Yeah. So yeah, more time at home, spending more time with family. So a lot of yeah, I realized that this whole thing about work-life balance, it's doable.
Yeah. Hey, we have a
Like if
question
you
from
integrate work and life.
we have a question from We. Thanks for posting
Yeah.
your
Okay.
question. Do you feel working from home is a deterrent to collaboration?
For me, it is a balance. Okay, it's a balance in a way that if I were to need to schedule conference calls or virtual
Mm-hmm.
meetings with partners, collaborators, the team, etc., it is doable
Okay.
because a lot of the institutions that we work with are very much mobile in that way, technologically more mobile. So
Okay.
meetings, it's a lot faster and more precise now, in the sense that I don't have to travel, and then
Mm.
I don't have to do the customary um, the the customary greeting. How are you? How's the weather? Sit down, chit chat a
Mm-hmm.
bit.
Yeah.
Right? It can
Straight to the
be okay,
point.
straight to the point. Yeah,
You know, you don't have
that's
another those kind of like 45 minutes, 60 minutes kind of
yeah,
meeting. Yeah. I think it's good.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it can cut through a lot of the chase,
Mm-hmm.
and we can go straight to the agenda, because we all then have this expectation that in this 1 hour or
Mm-hmm.
less, a lot of things needs to be ironed out and worked on the next step,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have the luxury of meeting each other that often anymore, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so then the discussions and the actions are very pointed, so very focused. Let's go through what we need to do. What have we not achieved, and how are we going to move forward? So very pointed
Correct.
discussions, and people are more open that way, because they also know that in times like this, it is
Mm-hmm.
different from
Yes. I,
from the past.
I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, maybe for the first 1 week, people might be skeptical about doing, online conferencing. You
Yeah.
know, especially
Yes. Correct.
I believe now a lot of people are used to looking at the webcam, looking at
Mm.
themselves, hearing themselves. Uh,
Yeah.
for meeting, right? Yeah. So
That's right.
I think it's a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's convenience. I mean,
Mhm.
this like what we are doing now is a very good example. No, we don't
Yeah.
need to set a place to meet up. No, we just set a time. Then boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we can just meet and talk, and people gets comfortable after that 2 months of circuit breaker to
Yes.
conduct
Yep.
discussions and even business this way. That's what I observe. The flip side of the coin is that with this circuit breaker, we are unable to meet with our beneficiaries. That means those who are in our program, because a lot of them are not socially mobile. That is
Mhm.
one.
Okay.
And secondly, there are limitations in terms of the environment that they are in, as well as a few of them will have to work as well,
Mm.
essential
Okay.
workers. Mm.
Mel, before
Yeah.
we go into any further details, what do
Mm.
you actually do?
That is the $6 billion question. What do I actually do?
Share
Yes.
with us. Share with us what is Inequality Ventures.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Inequality Ventures is essentially a social venture builder. Okay. So what is a social venture builder? All right. Um, if I were to trace back, right, how we started, it all started with a vision and a ideal state that me and my co-founder wanted the world to be in. Okay. And that ideal state is one where we leave the world a better place, okay, than we were born in, than we were born to, okay. So it's a bit esoteric at the moment. To put it into perspective, when we set up Inequality Venture, it is number one for the betterment of society, humanity, and the planet. Okay, to make the planet a better place. That's one.
Okay.
And to drill that down, right? Then we come into equality, the question of equality, because we realize that with technological advancement, okay, with education, with government policies, and even with society, i.e., meritocracy, okay, societal norms and expectations, we have created a consequences, all right, whereby those who can are able, willing to progress forward, right, can reap more benefits. Okay, so for example, if you look at the amount of tuition centers being sprouted up, nothing wrong with that because it's a supply and demand equation, right?
Yeah.
So the questions that I always ask myself is a kid, right, smart because he or she is naturally smart, or because he or she have parents who are able to send them for tuition to basically get well or score well during exams, right? So that actually pull the inequality get further and further,
Yeah.
because you will
Yes.
have a group of young who are not born in this environment, all right? And even if the parents are working very hard, but because of the limitations of their skills, their education, or even the circumstances, all right, they may find themselves, no matter how hard they try, right, it is very difficult. You think of it as now, right, you have nothing and you start running and you keep running for your race and you are very fast, and you just keep running and running to trying to do well. Then beside you is this guy who has the resources, and all he needs to do is, okay, I'll just buy a rollerblade. I can skate faster than you. Okay. Then I buy a skate scooter with the Electro PMD. I can go faster still, right? So as I acquire more skills, as I have the ability to acquire more resources, and then if I combine with technology, all right, I can essentially go as fast as I can while you are still trying to run as fast.
Yeah.
So is this for the lack of trying, or is this for the lack of accessibility to resources, opportunities,
Opportunities,
etc.?
yes.
Right? So then after that, what we then do is, when we drill down to the working level and the core of it, right, is to try to solve inequality of outcome and opportunity. That is one, okay? And secondly is to be able to create a system whereby people who are marginalized, underprivileged, are able to get an equal footing through the system to elevate them, to be able to compete equally, all right, with the people who have, or with the people who are more resourced, through our program, whereby we combine cognitive neuroscience with entrepreneurial skill set transfer to the person. Okay, so we work very much on that person,
Okay.
all right, to abate psychological barriers, to break through mindsets, and as well as to create opportunities, because through them, honestly, if I were to put my beneficiaries in front of any person and ask them to speak or ask them to present their stories, right, a lot of them will not be given a chance, even
Okay.
for a job interview, to be
Yes.
very honest, right?
Yep.
So what we want to do is to give them this system whereby in this ecosystem, it is judgment free, all right? You will fail, but you will fail safely. But yet you have the support of mentors, industry leaders who are volunteers and are facilitators in the ecosystem, as well as our network, our personal network, whereby we stake our credibility and our name to say that the candidates that we are going to put forward to the hiring company is going to be one who is a wholesome human being beyond the academics and beyond the skills experience, but someone who is willing and able and be able to work for you and value add into your company. So one part of it is that. The other part of it is that as a social venture builder, we actually build businesses, but
Okay.
the way we build businesses is different, all right? If a beneficiary that's in our system has a business idea, and after we assess the business idea to be viable, commercializable, all right, we will partner with them, and instead of a VC model whereby we direct cash injection into the business, and then looking and targeting a 10 times return on investment exit, like a traditional VC model, we partner, we take an equity stake together with the individual, and then we go into creating a sustainable business for the individual. However, once they are able to create a sustainable venture, okay, he or she is then expected to give back. By giving back, it means, i.e., going back to hiring more of the underprivileged, or the business ideas they have to solve a problem within that low-income community, or a marginalized community, a problem there, and even coming in as mentors to uplift the next generation. Okay, so that the younger generation are able to flourish, and there is a sustainability towards this model. So what we term this model is what our vision for capitalism 2.0. In capitalism 2.0, it is where we envision that businesses, i.e. the entrepreneurs that we have immersed, we call it, are able to grow the pie equitably, right? And they share it equitably as well. All right. So it is a capitalism with a heart, and the heart always comes from the human, the person. All right. So in hope that with this we can then we can then prove that this model of capitalism works. Okay, and if it can coexist with the existing capitalistic structure of winner take all, etc., right? Then it provides a choice for people. That means it provides for both spectrum. For those who are more resourceful, who are less who are more meritocratic by nature, right? There is nothing wrong to be going out to earn your keep, right? But it's just that now, right, there is no such alternative system, and we are trying to create an alternative system whereby the people who are working, the people who are in that underprivileged, underprivileged cycle, have an opportunity, an equal opportunity to go out and compete. But yet, if they are successful because of their learning, their learnings, their teaching, they are able to give back. It becomes a second nature of giving back. Yeah. So that's what we strongly believe in.
So I understand that IEV is considered a social enterprise. So what's the difference between a non-profit organization and a social enterprise organization?
That's another $5 million question that I get all the time. Okay. On the textbook basis level, right? A non-profit organization, and we will put it into Singapore's context. A non-profit organization is one that is very much championing a social cause. To put it as simple as I can, championing a social cause. Okay, and by championing a social cause, they are also then subjected to the purview regulations of the Charities Act, which means they are mode of getting funds and are keeping themselves operational is through donations or funding, be it from the government matching scheme or donations from the public. Okay, and with this, there are also restrictions that comes in the sense that they are unable to do things that are excessively for profit. That's one. Secondly, they are unable to go into excessively risky investment vehicles for their surpluses. Okay, so there is a certain control in place, check and balance. All right, as a social venture, right? Now the current definition is that it is a for-profit company doing or basically solving a social problem, but yet drive revenue from it. Okay, so usually you will see a lot of social enterprises, they are set up to solve a social problem. Right. So, for example, you may have folks who are trying to solve mental wellness issues, and then they are providing solutions like art therapy. All right, or even trying to make tuition accessible for all. So the business model is one whereby they charge full fees for those who are able to pay, and then a subsidized rate for those who are not.
Okay.
So the ones who are paying full fee basically subsidize or basically covers part of those who are unable to pay full fees. Okay. So in that way, it is to make this social enterprise solve a social problem, right? Solve a social problem, but yet profitably. So using free market principles, using economic and business principles to solve those problems, but yet adhere to the social cause. Yeah. So that's the main difference.
So in terms of funding, how does IEV raise their funds?
For IEV itself, we raise. Okay, currently we are so-called self-funded because we do not believe in going out to raise money, i.e. get investors in and then use those money, right, to invest in or to take equity stakes in our beneficiaries business. The reason why we do that and we deliberately do that is because until we are able to find an investor who has the same alignment as us, the same values as us. That's one. All right. And the second thing is that we do not want to put our beneficiaries in a state whereby if funding runs out, I have to go to him and say, or her and say, sorry, we have to close the business. Because as a venture, as a VC or as a funder, right, the truth of the matter is that if one of the companies or the startup that I'm invested in fail, that probably constitute a 10 or even 5% of my portfolio. So my failure rate is perhaps only 20-30% in my overall portfolio, because I only need that one or two Grab or that one or two Uber to make it big.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Yeah, but what happens to the entrepreneur? Because my risk is only a 10% or 20%, the entrepreneur's risk is 100%.
And more responsibility on their end, yeah.
That's right. There's more responsibility on their end. And through our work, right, and also our research, we do find that a lot of well-resourced entrepreneurs, all right, outside, right, take failure very hard. Which means if the company fails, a lot of times the likelihood of them falling into depression is very high.
Okay.
And also the ability for them to pick themselves up, it's also questionable in a sense that it takes a long time to pick yourself up to try again.
But
okay?
this is common, right?
It is common, right?
Yeah.
So imagine if this happens to people who are so-called the U-grads, the ones who are able to pitch, get funding, you know, are able to raise funds on the dime, etc. And that fails, and this happens to them. Imagine if you are at a lower strata of society.
Okay.
What is going to happen to you? So we deliberately then decided to basically not take funding because of this reason.
Okay.
Because we cannot afford to fail our beneficiary, and we cannot afford that to put our beneficiary through this, right? Because they are already coming from a disadvantaged. They are already starting off at a disadvantage.
As a disadvantage position, correct.
Correct. So we have to be very careful because we are dealing with a human at the end of the day. So which is why we basically work very hard to together with the beneficiaries and our entrepreneurs to go and look for ways to get grants, funding, etc. Right? Rather than just put in, and that's also why rather than just we pumping in equity stake 30%, 50%, and then we expect them for a return, because that's not going to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sometime last year, I understand that you work with a group of students from a local institution.
Oh yes, that's right. So we
Let
work
us
with.
Talk about that, and you may share some information about who are they and what was actually done during that session.
Okay. Yeah. So essentially, this is one part of our program, our module. So in our mod, this is the part one of the module. So the part one of the module, the end goal of the module is for that individual to find their worth, their usefulness. Okay, so it is to essentially unleash the passion and the usefulness in the individual. Okay,
I mean the strengths basically.
The strength, basically the strength. All right, so you will see that the group of folks here, right, they are from ITE Central, College Central, okay, and you know the common stereotype about ITE students.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people, right? IT equals to is the end. Students are rowdy. They are not very cooperative. They are not very intelligent, etc., etc. Okay. And the fact of the matter is that the students you see here, they are not the cream of the crop in ITE.
Okay.
So these are the students whereby the teachers have basically identified and saying that they are basically just borderline there and not really thriving on.
So how did they join this program? How did you reach out to this group of people?
Yeah, so it was quite surprising the way that we reach out to them, right? It was purely a cold call to ITE. Okay, so that's how we are able to do a program there in ITE, whereby after I watched a Channel News Asia program highlighting one of their students, and I wanted to meet that student. So one day I went to ITE College Central, and I went to the office and asked for the name of that, to ask to meet the student.
Okay. So you went all the way there in person.
Yeah, I went all the way in person, and then I went to ask. So of course they did not give me the name because of PDPA, etc., etc.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Then what I did was I managed to get a general hotline, the general email address. So I sent that email address. I went back and rewatched that video on YouTube like 7 more times.
Okay.
All right, and then went to search, and then I saw the student counseling department. But they interviewed one of them, and then they interviewed one of the charities that was supporting that program. Okay, then after I went to the internet, go to the government directory and go and search the email of that person.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like some PI work involved.
Yeah. So in that sense, hustle and dig until I can find something, and then I emailed the individual. He replied, and we had a meeting. And through that meeting, one thing led to another. We shared with him our program, what we are doing, what we are trying to do, and the rest is history. So then it became let's do one to for this group of kids that he is counseling, because these are the kids that goes through the students affairs department that he's counseling, and that the teachers basically send them there for counseling. Right, and see if we can work something with them. Yeah.
So I see some on the day 2, they are doing some cup stacking program. Yeah.
So if you look at day 2, right, when they are doing the cup stacking, basically why cup stacking, right, is because in our program, number 1, we always use activities as an enabler for them to internalize what it means for themselves. That's one. The second thing is cup stacking is a program whereby the principles of it, right, allows a person to understand what equality means. What I say that is because if you think about it, right, it doesn't matter how smart you are, how high your GPA is, whether you are a scholar or not, to do cup stacking.
Yeah.
Right? The smartest person on earth may not be the best cup stacker. Right? That's one. And number 2, when you put a smartest person on earth and you put an average person like me, all right, to learn cup stacking, it's all about repetitive action, pattern recognition, etc. So the more you do it, the more you're able to get the hang of it, right? And the more you practice, the more you fail and practice, and more you fail and practice, you get it. So there is that level of tenacity there you need to have, right? So, and secondly, the rule of cup stacking is one whereby if you fail and you drop the cup, you see, if you fail and you drop the cup, right, basically you start again. That means if you drop the cup, you go back to that position whereby you drop, and then you do it again. So this teaches you it's okay to fail.
Let us
right?
take a
It's
look at
okay to
the
fail. Yeah.
Let us take a look at the video.
没有嘞。
Nice. Yeah. So in this video, you will see that within 40 minutes, right, this happens. And this activity is one whereby the person on the right, Yi Jing, right, or on the right, the guy with the specs, right, is actually teaching the person on the left, Alex, how to do stacking, which means they are mirroring each other. And you know, it's not easy to teach mirroring.
Yeah, it's not.
Because
Yeah.
your left hand is the person's
Right hand.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. And how are you going to coordinate? All right. So again, cup stacking is able to do that, whereby it is able to also enable the person, right, to feel what empathy means.
And
'Cause
some
when
of
you
them, I believe, it's their first time doing cup stacking also.
Yeah, all of them first time.
Oh, okay.
All of them first time. Yeah.
So it must
So
be a
it's the
very
first time they are doing.
interesting session, also scary at the same time, because with people around, you tend to worry about your image, right? Making mistakes and things
Yeah.
like that.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So with this, and the surprising thing is that once they got a hang of it, right, it was quite amazing. Whenever we send them out for assignments, which are usually difficult, and they come back and they feel stressed, right, suddenly they automatically took out the cup stacking, all the cups, right, and started stacking. And then they say, I need to really stress.
Okay.
So basically, they found another way of
Distress.
distressing, channeling their their negativity in a way, right, into an activity. And we did not expect that, honestly, because they just learn this in 40 minutes, and then when they do it, they just are very stressed. So instead of being disruptive or like just like give up, they just keep doing. Yeah.
So there's another activity on the day too, that they are out of the class to interact with people.
Yes, correct. So once they have learned cup stacking, their next task, right, is to teach 10 people. Okay, this is to train them on. In day one, we did what we call the elevator pitch. All right, so the pitch is basically to let them understand how they position themselves and how other people see them. Because once they have that 1 minute interaction, the party that they talk to, right, will write something, a word or two, about their impression of the individual.
Okay.
Okay. So we combine the lessons or we combine the activities and the that we have done, and then we send them out to teach at least 10 people. All right. And this is for them to immerse what rejection is. How do you get from rejection to your first yes? And also, how do you teach a stranger something that the fellow doesn't know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So let us watch the video.
那你用左手还是手用？那收回的时候不用右手，拿起手放在那用左手，放在
So it doesn't really look simple, especially communicating with a stranger.
That's right.
Yeah.
So in this activity, you will realize that the guy Yi Jing, right, the first guy, the one on the front, he actually stood up, position, and adjust himself, bringing the cup closer to the auntie.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I think
So
it's a small gesture, but a
it's
lot
a
means a lot.
gesture, yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he did not realize he did that.
Mm.
And that is basically showing empathy or acting out empathy. Because when the person that you are trying to teach encounters problem, what do you do? Do you just keep like say, no, you just do like that, sitting where you are, or you adjust yourself, you position yourself, you do something to get your message across. Yeah.
Mm.
And for Yi Jing itself, as we work on our reflection on day 3, he let us in on a story about himself, whereby the first day he said that he's very impatient. He really cannot stand talking to people who don't understand him. That's the first day, all right? But when we showed him this video of what happens, right, he then tell us that deep inside, right, he actually wants to set up an old age home
Okay.
Okay.
when
Wow.
he is old, when he grows up, because he wants to fight. He feels that a lot of the old people are very poor thing. That either they are neglected by their kids, or they are working so old and they are still
Working, correct.
right? So nobody to take care of. So he always inside his heart wanted to
To
set up,
help out, yeah.
to help. Yeah. So you can try to put his inner thoughts that he share, right, to what the teacher says that he is. You find that, if people spend more time with so-called the folks that they think is different from them or different from what society views of them, right? Everyone has a story, right? They are just not given a chance to be heard. That's one. And secondly, another chance to manifest it. Yeah. Right.
So on day 4, they have a mini event where some of the staff of the school were invited to the party.
Yes. So in day 4, what happens is that at the end of day 3, we told them that we actually prepared lunch money for them. Okay. So throughout the day, right? Every day that they come for the program, they are given lunch money of $4 per person.
Okay.
Okay. So we tell them that this money is yours. You can choose to spend it on lunch, or you can choose to keep it for other things. Okay. So this is also a lead in for us to teach them about financial management, resource management.
Mhm.
Okay. The group decided that they will keep it for other things. Okay. So at the end of day 3, that is where we throw them the next challenge is that what are you going to do with your class graduation after you graduated on Friday, day 5? You still have this pool of money that you have not spent. What are you going to do? Do you want to all split the money, so that you all go out or do you all want to have a party among yourself, right? So after some brainstorming and after some back and forth among themselves, right? One of them actually said, the cleaners in our school, right? Very poor thing, because after we talk to them, after doing the cup stacking, talking to a lot of them, we realized they have been working for more than 12 hours a day. And the students take them for granted because they just anyhow throw litter on the floor. Then they have to pick it up for them. Then you see the aunties are so old already, but yet they have to, clean the school, stand up for a long period of time and only have a half an hour break before they start work again. So then,
quiet superheroes.
That's right. Yeah, the quiet superheroes, right? And that is where they think that, you know what? Let's do a pay it forward party, which means let's show them the gratitude of that they have not received for a long time. All right. So then they got in together. They basically did what they need to do. There's a slide whereby you will see that there are some numbers there. So that is when they go out and hustle for donation. That is at day 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So at day 4, right?
Okay.
The slide day 4. Yeah. Next slide. So you see on the right hand side there is this. Okay. They target to raise $1,000 because after they have done their research, the aunties prefer. Okay, initially they wanted to give each of the cleaning staff a hamper, right?
Okay.
So then they went to think that say, oh, my grandmother like the biscuits, the soda biscuits, Then my grand auntie use salon pa, so they really they must like all these things.
Mhm.
So then we asked them, do you really think this is what they like? Right? Then they decided, okay, let's go and ask the cleaners themselves. So they did a survey. They went to ask, and that is where they came out. They realized the cleaners wanted Sheng Siong vouchers because there's a Sheng Siong at ITE Central.
Oh yes,
okay.
the ground floor.
Yeah, ground floor. So because they like Sheng Siong vouchers, then after that they also realized they got not enough money to buy Sheng Siong vouchers for all the cleaners. Because minimum they are trying to give $20.
Okay.
So that's where one of them said, hey, why don't we just go and fundraise? Right. So that's day 4, second half of the day. So they set a target on 1,000.
Okay.
By almost the end of day 4, they achieved about half that amount. Okay. And then they were calling, they were hustling, basically they were hustling very hard. They were about half the amount almost half within 3 hours. By day 5, right? By day 5 afternoon, they managed to raise about close to $800.
Wow, that's quite
So
good.
This is within the school itself, is it?
Within the school, they call their friends. They basically try to solicit donations. But the thing is, it was not smooth sailing for them. Because when they did that, right? For example, they called the teachers. They were soliciting donation. People actually not say complain, feedback to the management.
Oh, okay.
So when management come down and ask them what is going on, people start to jump, right?
Yep.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Administrators start to jump. So then the administrators started to come down and like forcefully asking what is going on. Why are people they can't do this? You need a permit. You need to go through all the proper
Channels.
Channels. You can't just do this. You can't just do that. How can you just raise funds like that, right?
Yeah.
So they were they were very demoralized because it shows them that I'm trying to do something good here. Why do people stop me? Just when you found that you have some usefulness, then the harsh reality is that the system is coming on you because you are not towing the line. You are not towing the process.
I think it's something very relatable when it comes to do business because that's what you encounter, right?
That's right.
Many hurdles, raising funds, selling things, and things like that. So
that's right.
It's not easy, but I think it's a good lesson. Yeah.
It is. So for them, for us, instead of helping them to troubleshoot, right, we always ask them questions and we always work with them as an individual, right? In the sense that we ask them, do you want to stop? Because if you think that this is not going to be worth it, do you want to stop? Then we are just go and do something else. Maybe you want to give something or just do a show for them. They say that no, screw the admin. If they want accountability, we can give them accountability. And you know what they did? One of them say, right? I tell you what, you ask all the donors to donate using PayLah to my phone number. Give all the donors the phone number. All right. So when they PayLah me, ask them to put their name. So you have the name and the
record.
amount.
Yep.
There's a record there. So we can account for it. So in fact, they use technology to account for it. Right?
Okay.
We did not tell them to do it. And they say, yeah, you want accountability? I give you accountability. but don't stop me from doing what I
Yeah.
think is right.
Okay.
Right? So they did that, and they accounted dollar for dollar, cent by cent, right, in the Excel spreadsheet, which we still have. I still have it, right, about who give what and how much they spend. So everything was accounted for. And again, I need to emphasize, these are the youth that the school teachers say that they cannot amount to anything.
Okay.
Okay. But this is the tenacity that they showed, and that fight in them suddenly came out, right?
Okay,
So then
good.
on day 5, what happened was that okay, you go back to two more slides. If you go back to another, okay, this guy Alex, the one here. Okay, so on day 5, when they were doing the presentation, so the party, basically they invited some of their friends to sing to the aunties and uncles, and also perform, do a performance for them to celebrate the cleaners and showing thanks. Beside the library where they are having that event, right? Madam Denise Pua, who is the MP of Jalan Besar GRC and the mayor of Central CDC, was attending another event.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. So then I saw Madam Denise Pua, right? I don't know her and I did not say hi to her. So I told the group, okay, you have a VIP at the other side of the room. The rest is up to you. Okay,
Wow.
so this guy that you see here, Alex, okay, Alex, right, is actually a very smart student when he was in primary school. You know, guess what? His PSLE prelim score, right, was like 2.5 something.
Okay.
Very
2.5
good,
something, 2.6 something. Yeah, he is a very smart kid then. How did he end up in ITE? Before his actual PSLE, he got epilepsy.
Oh, okay.
All right, he got epilepsy, and because of that, you know, of course, you know, when you go to exams, you fail.
Yeah.
You fail some subjects here, and then you are being brought into the normal system, the system, right? All right. So, and because of the epilepsy, right, his brains got rewired in a certain way. Okay, that impedes his learning. So, so in that sense, right, when you talk to him, you will think that this guy is very weird. Like, why is he talking like that, or why doesn't he have any EQ, right? And he takes a long time now to remember things and to put things like exams, you know, to study, etc. Right? But if you know the story, you realize that this happens not by his choice. He is not born stupid.
Yeah.
Something happened, and because of an exam, this happens. And to our surprise, right, suddenly he was the one who went to Madam Denise Paul and just asked her.
Would you like to join?
Yes,
Grace
he was the one
event?
who went there. Yeah.
Wow.
So he literally did a pitch. He literally did a pitch. What he has experienced in day 1. There and then, the last person you would expect. I wasn't expecting him, right?
Unexpected. Yeah.
Unexpected, right? So then she said yes, and she went on to give the vouchers to all the cleaners as a show of gratitude. All right, right, and you see this person on the right, the extreme right, the guy, right, that guy. Yeah. So after the event is over, we asked them, you know who is that guy on the right? You know? Then
The
they
guy
say,
that's wearing gray in color,
Yeah.
gray shirt, yeah.
gray shirt, spectacle, right? Then they say, I don't know who is he, you know. I thought he's just an uncle, maybe staff of Denise Pua. Then we told him, then we told them, you know, this guy is your principal, your school principal. Then they said, oh, is it? And the ironic thing is that, you know, they wanted him, the principal, to be the guest of honor.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But he couldn't make it.
Couldn't make it. One of the students, right, actually went to the admin office, pressed the lift door to the principal office. The floor got scolded. Got scolded. Got scolded by the so-called the staff. told him that, hey, you student, you cannot just anyhow go up, You think what? Can just go up to the principal office like that. You need to go through proper channel, Who you think you are, okay? He got scolded.
Okay.
So they never got his principal. They
Yeah,
never
so
got,
it means the invitation never get through.
never get through, all
Okay.
right?
Okay.
They never got the principal. All they got was that
Scolding.
admin complaining to the student council. Hey,
Okay.
why the students are going to directly? They cannot do this. They cannot do that.
Okay.
Right? And through this also, then they realize actually the person that they are trying to meet, they have never met before, is there. Right? And so to this, we also realize how far the gap is, right, for those who are administering and those on the ground. Which means the principal, they don't know who the principal, which is the principal probably seldom walk the ground.
Okay.
Right? So if you seldom walk the ground, how much do you know about the actual situation? How much do
True.
you know about your students, etc.?
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Right? So this is something that we glean from as well. About the systems or the administrative systems in the civil service, all right, which we take it with us for our learning, for our future collaboration. Okay, so at the end of the program, we did a reflection, right? So everybody will internalize, and then we did a reflection. Okay, the first reflection you see Jatin. Okay, he is an interesting person. Okay, he is a PR from India.
Okay.
Jatin, okay? So he came to Singapore with his parents at a young age. So he attended primary school in Singapore. All right. He's also quite a smart student. All right. When we were doing our program, right, in one of the segments, we were asking them about who they want to be. He wrote down Nelson Mandela.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
So then we were quite taken aback, like how does a 17-year-old kid know, firstly, not only know about Nelson Mandela, but wants to be like Nelson Mandela. So we asked and we probed deeper, and he told us that he wants to be like Nelson Mandela because Mandela represents justice, represents equality in this world.
Yeah.
And
It's
he wants
very
to be
uncommon.
the one.
Very
It's
uncommon
very
for
uncommon,
a
yes.
17-year-old. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly, right? So and when we probe further, and he told us his story, and his story was this: when he was in primary school, he likes to draw bridges, bridge, right? The reason why he likes to draw bridges was because his grandfather was a bridge engineer in India. Okay. And he was very influenced and inspired by his grandfather to be an engineer of what the grandfather did. So he always liked to draw bridges. However, throughout his primary school life, right, he has been told by his classmates that, hey, you like to draw bridges, hey, why don't you go and become Bangla worker?
Wow.
Why you study for what? Why you study in Singapore for what? Go and become Bangla worker lah. Go and build bridge for us. Right? Study for what? So you see, he has been constantly bullied this way.
Yeah, he's been a victim of
He's
bullying.
been a victim,
Yeah.
yes. All right. And to make things worse, right? He is not a Singaporean. So you can imagine how insignificant his voice is. How is he going to fight back as so-called a PR foreigner in this land? And he to us, he also told us he is very conflicted because he has to serve NS as a PR, right? So he do not get the full privilege of a citizen. He has to serve NS, all right? Not that he doesn't want to serve, but is that he finds himself serving NS and then having to protect the people who bullied him. So where is the justice to him? Right? And that is where he strongly believed in becoming the fighter for people without a voice, to give people without a voice their justice. Right? Again, to to us, this is a validation of what we are doing, and it keeps us going because the world truly needs more stories than statistics.
Definitely. I think
Yeah,
story is very important.
It's very important, right? And people are, and you think about it, right? Circumstances like this at a young age, right, can in fact affect a person and create that inequality in that person,
Yes.
right? So the whole problem is more nuanced than what we believe it is, or what we are being portrayed by the media and by what we see.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yes.
So I
Okay,
believe here is the photo of Jatin, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are the ITE students, so the young change makers we call them. Yeah. So if you look at them, when they came in, they weren't smiling that much. If you look at
Yeah.
the first photo, yeah.
I
So
was
after
there
the
on the
course,
first day. They were quite, they look lost in that room. Thinking, what is going on? What can I achieve here? Is it another session where, they're gonna teach us a lot of things and then you just sit down and listen. But
Yeah.
big difference from day 1 and day 5.
yeah. So for us, they have basically completed the first session. So we are this year we are supposed to embark on the second session, whereby they go into unleashing their passion and play.
Mm-hmm.
That is where the business ideas come out, or we work with them on the goals that they want to achieve, be it getting into poly, etc. Then from there we will drill deeper for the individual to get them there. Yeah, but unfortunately we have to take a back seat for now because of the pandemic.
Yep.
But it will resume once phase 3 opens. Yeah.
Okay, so we actually have a question by we. Actually, two
Okay.
questions. Okay,
Okay.
so his question is, do you think by doing all this you can break the cycle of inequality, or perhaps it is just closing the gap?
We is asking all the right questions, because that's the $7 billion question that people always ask me again. Okay. Okay. I always ever since I started, my co-founder started Ink Equality 2 years ago, right? There's never one day I go to bed not thinking about this question, honestly.
Why?
All right. Because 100 people I talk to, 100 people have told me, what makes you think that you are the one who can solve this? Right. And and there are times, honestly, right, whereby the day gone by so hard, right, that you get setbacks after setbacks, right, that you really question yourself. What if they are right?
Mm.
I always question myself, and this is also something that beyond optimism, right? There must be realism, and I always
Yes, true,
question
correct.
myself, right? Like, yeah, what if I'm not the one, right? And then I came to a level of peace with myself first, right? And this is what I have concluded for myself, and the answer that I give to people, right, is and it is that, okay, when it comes time for me to rest,
Mm-hmm.
okay, when I'm laying on my resting bed and comes time for me to rest, right, if the situation, the inequality gap still exists, okay, I would admit before I draw my last breath, right, that I have failed. And it's only then that I will admit that I have failed. Okay. However, if on the same bed, right, somebody comes to me and told me that they have benefited from what inequality ventures have done, then I would have changed her world. Right? Because I may not have changed the world, but I tried. until I drew my last breath. However, if I have true inequality uplifted one person, I go with the I basically go knowing that at least I have changed her world. And that is how I came to peace with myself. And that is the answer I give. Because to be very honest, this is an infinite game that we are playing.
Yes, true.
It goes beyond my co-founder's time. It goes beyond my time. What I can do and what my co-founder can do is through inequality ventures, lay that foundation for the future and future generation to take this forward and elevate it for themselves. Because in 20 years time, after this COVID has ended, after the next COVID potentially going to come, the world is very different.
Yes, true.
Yeah, the world is very different. So this has to be carried on by generations after generations.
Yes.
But for us, we take heart in the matter that at least we started it first, so that the rest of the generations are able to push through.
Correct.
Can you share with us who are the people on your team?
Okay. In inequality, we have Angela. So co-founder, one of my co-founders is Angela. So Angela is a doctor, a medical doctor by training. She is a medical doctor that do palliative care, i.e., she takes care of end of life patients who are nearing the end of their life. All right, and she's also a certified professional coach and a certified acupuncturist. So basically, she is solely in charge of the soft skills, the human side of inequality ventures. So the training on mindset, the training, basically the programs and the methodologies of cognitive neuroscience comes from her.
Okay.
All right. The other co-founder is me, of course. So I am focused on the technical skill sets, whereby the investment decisions that we make, the hard skills transfer, the financial management, the entrepreneur skill set transfer, the design thinking, how do you do problem solving, etc. So the hard skill sets is where I come in. Okay. And we also have a new member on board. Her name is Zubaida. So Siti Zubaida. All right.
Okay.
She is the Chief Social Impact Officer. So her work is to manifest the community. So her work is to bring the communities together and manifest that, bridging the different institutions, the different societies with our beneficiaries. That's one. And secondly, she is also a basically a career coach for our beneficiaries who are looking at working for someone in the future. Because we also understand that not all of them may have a business idea that they want to do or may want to do business. So she also takes care of the career aspects, career aspirations of some of these beneficiaries, and she will coach them on the career aspect. So inequality is now 3 of us, but supporting us are our group of volunteers, mentors, as well as our facilitators. So we do take in volunteers and people who wants to work on themselves.
Okay.
So it is through giving them their platform, this platform for them to express themselves through working with the youth or working with our underprivileged segment, for them to also work on themselves and for us to work with them on themselves as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can't do it by the 3 of us. So we basically harness the collective effort of the community. And we are also very much blessed with our board, because we have a very supportive board that is mentoring us and giving us tough love, we call it. When we are not in shape, they whip us into shape. Yeah.
I think it's a good thing, right? With
correct.
It is.
From different background, working experience coming in to give advice.
It is.
I think it's
Yeah.
something very valuable and it's always treasured by the core team, because not everybody has the privilege to have board members that are well experienced, to bring in their experience and share with you. Because sharing is very easy, but some
Yep.
people might not like the idea of sharing because
Yeah.
it's time consuming.
Correct.
Maybe that's
That's
not what
right.
they want to do at all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So which is also why there's one thing that I always tell the people that I know, right, that um I got to where I was in the past, right, not because I'm smart, right, or not because I am the most hardworking, but because of the sacrifices that the people that trusted me and believe in me, because of these people, their sacrifice, i.e., my parents,
Mm.
right? How they sacrifice for me to get me through school or get me through, believing in me, so to speak, right? In work, my colleagues, right? Sometimes you will meet colleagues who may not want to do things for you, right? But they sacrifice part of their time to get things done for me, enabling me to progress, right? My friends as well, the football buddies that we play football,
Yeah.
right? Ricky and Fan.
I think some of
It's
them are
all,
queuing right now.
yeah, right. So it's the sacrifices that, because they can choose to not do anything,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Who don't want to
Yeah.
help me or help whoever, right? Yeah.
Right. So how has this circuit COVID affecting how IEV at this point of time? Because 2 months you can't get out of house, you can't
Yeah.
do much.
Mhm.
So what's the upcoming plan for IEV, and maybe you can share with us?
So these 2 months we have been very much going back to the drawing board and strategizing. The one challenge that we put forward to ourselves, right, is that how can IEV become an essential service?
Okay.
How can IEV become an essential service? Okay, and that is the challenge that we see, because we realize that, not because to qualify, it is not because we want to be able to go like open the office, keep working, etc., but for the very fact that a lot of our beneficiaries are actually essential workers, and if we are closed this way, like now, we can't do anything for them.
Yeah.
Right. So, and all it takes is a situation like this, a virus, to shut down what we are doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So that is the question that we are asking ourselves now, and the problem that we are solving. Right. What does it mean to be essential? All right. That's one. And how does it mean to be essential? Okay. So we are honestly still pondering and still trying to come up with solutions. All right. Looking at the market, we are actually studying the data. Okay. One thing for us in IEV is that we are quite data intensive in terms of our research. So we do not take things based on what we hear and see. So we will validate. Just like how we started IEV, we took 1 year to validate before we say, okay, we can incorporate it. Yeah, right.
Wow.
So we are doing that now. We are validating all the data. We are looking at how this COVID will potentially affect people, and we are now observing a phenomenon whereby there is going to likely be a group of working poor that is going to go into the system.
Okay.
This working poor would be those who are in junior executive role. You'll be surprised, maybe white collar junior executive role, right? Those who are in the gig economy, etc. Right? Those who used to be SME owners or even small business owners, right? Because of this, right? They may
Yes, correct.
Yes, go in. They may be put down into what we call the working poor, and this working poor will very likely, right, be left out of the system, because the current system and rightly so, right, is very much focused on the bottom 20 percentile of the population.
Nice.
Because
Okay.
that's how you can justify,
Yeah.
So that's something that we are thinking of, and that's in the works. The second thing in the works is we are also looking at a series of workshops or even going directly to the public themselves.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, how do we enable mindfulness, etc., etc. Yeah, so there'll be a series of other workshops that we are thinking of doing. Yeah,
Okay.
straight to public.
Okay, Melvin. Before we end this session, I have a question. So,
Yeah.
how would the public or people who want to volunteer with you guys approach you?
Okay, they can go to our Facebook website. Okay, in our Facebook/inequality
Mm-hmm.
ventures.
Let me share the link.
Yeah.
So it's easier for everybody to
Okay.
take a look. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you can scan the QR code, like us on Facebook, and then drop me a message on Facebook. Okay. Then I will respond to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So likewise, if you have a friend of a friend who knows me, just drop me a text or a message.
Yeah, I'll post the link on our Facebook page after this live stream, so everybody can click on it and like and follow IEV. Reach out to Melvin and his team if you have any questions.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have any skill sets that you want to volunteer, I believe they will be happy to have you guys on board.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are always looking out for people with diverse skills, and more importantly, if they have stories about themselves to share with our participants.
Yeah, I think Mel, we both of us have discussed some time ago that it's always good to get working people to come and share their experience. It doesn't have to be a business owner. It can be somebody working for a company. Share the experience to the participants. This is something very important. I think a lot of organizations overlook.
Yeah, definitely. Because honestly, to a lot of this youth, especially the youth segment that we work with, they really lack a role model and a parental figure. A lot of them grow up without that strong parental support or without their father being their role model. So they always wanted a role model, but unfortunately nobody gave them a second look because nobody thinks they are deserving. Yeah. So we always welcome people who wants to share their story or who wants to do good or who believe that I really wanted to do something but I don't know how. So we are opening our platform.
Yeah, maybe get fun to have a short talk, as how to become a
definitely
photographer and travel the world, and see different people suffering.
When I attended one of the expose before the circuit breaker, Fan was sharing about his photos on Taipusan.
Yes, right.
Right. That really moved me.
Oh, okay.
it moved me because of the level of detail that she will go into to capture the photos. Right? That to me, right, is empathy. Right? I mean, who would have woke up, follow the whole procession from early morning, God knows when?
Yeah,
right?
it's very long.
Carry 5 kilo of rice and sack just to feel how the kabaddi, how heavy it is to walk, right? And that is, to me, is really commitment to your craft, to not only just capture a photo, right? But that commitment, right, to actually feel
what the
whole thing is
correct.
about. Yeah.
Correct.
And then and then translate that into a photographer a photograph. And that is the whole blood, sweat, tears, and everything inside, and that that commitment to the craft, which I do see it lacking, and I hope it could be revived because not everything is about quick, fast, and cheap now. Nowadays.
Yes, true.
Unfortunately, because everything is accessible right now, everything is fast. Like if I have a thought, I just post on Facebook. I just a click
Yeah,
on my keyboard and
correct.
then done. So
Correct.
so things are moving fast. Well, maybe Fun, you
Yeah.
can share we can share the video on our page so the viewers who are tuning in right now, they can watch it later and
Yeah.
understand what Melvin is trying to explain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, can, sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a
man.
I think we
very
will do
good,
that, yeah.
Yeah. So Fun,
It is
let's announce the winner.
Okay, let's announce the winner for today. Should we give him or not? I think no need lah. Ask him to give us back lah. Can or not?
Don't know lah. Or maybe you pass it to him when you see him on the field.
Okay, I mean, as usual, so we will always choose one lucky viewer for a special gift. So for tonight, it's we. Yes, we. I mean, we, are you still watching? If you are still watching, please.
He is still watching, I think.
Yeah. Please DM us. Please DM us. You can
Yeah.
either DM on this page or Ricky or myself. Yeah, DM us to claim your prize.
Yes.
Yeah. It's something from us to show our appreciation for you guys,
Nice.
especially who to actually stay up and watch us sharing this kind of topics, online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay lah.
Right.
I won't tackle you next game.
I think we won't tackle him.
Yeah. Maybe we should become a goalkeeper.
How can you make him our goalkeeper?
Yeah. So thank you everybody for joining us this evening.
Yep.
Very happy to have Melvin sharing with us what is IEV. I believe today we learned a little bit more about what is a social enterprise, what they do, and hope to have more sharing session by Melvin and his team moving forward. I'll be happy to have his other two colleagues to join us the next time round. So,
Yep.
well, thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yep.